So here it is, yet another IKAAAE Game Genie video. I promised myself I would never ever make a video game video with my voice grating as it is overlaid over it, but here we go. So with Guardian Legend, we can see that the password screen here is completely messed up, completely unusable. The game itself is mostly playable, at least in the first stage, but once you get to the first room, your bikini battle bot is completely unable to leave the room. Nerd fantasy, but unfortunately not playable. Pinball Quest is a little bit boring, but also very common in a lot of games. My apologies. It just completely freezes. Conquest of the Crystal Palace. This game is amazing. You should play it, but not using this code because it will just freeze on that screen. But look kind of badass in the interim. Now moving on to Super C. This game is super contra-tastic. It is good, but upon trying to jump out of the airplane, you become a flying warrior. You are able to shoot in all 8 directions. You are cannonballing through the air bad-assedly and true Rambo style. But as you may guess, this is not a completely sustainable action, as eventually, staying at the same height, you'll hit a ramp and get completely stuck. Now it's kind of an endurance test in a way before you can get killed, but if you just get killed as I did, the people will walk over your corpse continuously for the remainder of you having the power on. Now speaking of Flying Warriors, here's Flying Warriors once again. The game, which has an absolutely ludicrously long text-based intro that's unreadable as it is, much less with garbage text. And getting through it, I had to put it into fast motion. Now when you get to this initial sparring thing, everything works fine, and then it completely freezes up. So sad. Now, as we move on to its tournament mode, you see here Dick and Butt are locked in heated battle. The unfortunate thing is it ends before it can even begin. This is how it always ends. Now, another gratuitous code shot here, as we move on to Monster Party. Now, this game is one of the more grosser games on the NES that somehow got by the censors, but as you can see here, it censors itself after you try and start a level, going straight back to the title screen. This makes the game a little bit hard to play. Go on to Crystalsis. It skips the SNK intro, goes right to the beginning, lets you out the door, and as you explode the wall, the entire game explodes. Very fourth wall breaking, very pre-Mother. Now moving on to 8-IKAAAE. This game is a bit of a Castlevania ripoff in most people's eyes, and very fair. In this case, it just messes up the music when it uses code, much as using any code in Mega Man or Mega Man 2. I have no idea if entering any code will have the same effect, because I do not care enough about this complete pile of shit in order to actually test this. I wanted to like this game so much. I really, really did. And this music sucks. We have to move on. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Ninja Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. Now, the intro of this is completely fantastic. It's just like watching a cartoon. For kids like me and many others that did not have an SNES growing up, but rather just an NES, stuff like this was just completely mind-blowing. However, unlike some of the glitches that we've seen so far, the effects of this code are not at all mind-blowing, as we choose Raph here, because he's pretty, he's cool but crude. And we skip the intro, because who reads? And the game is completely normal. Boring. So we move on to its older brother, the original TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which has a much more subdued, much more boring intro. It is fine for all it's worth, but not terribly exciting. So we're going to skip and go to the game, and we're going to, just attempt to stroll to say that first sewer seals, let's not even go into it, and we're in the water, and we're just moving horizontally. Resetting the game, we'll try again, go into the sewer this time. Much excitement is sure to be found, and where is my turtle? It's like playing TMNT, the Ray Charles edition. Oh wait, it's kind of scrolling inch by inch. What the hell? Now, you can eventually make your way through this, or attempt to, but even if you try and change turtles, you're going to change to Raph once again, a very, very wise choice in this game, having that 1 pixel reach. Mike Don, even with his technological genius, is not able to make it any farther. Oh wait, we made it to a boss here, but we can't beat him because there's no sprite. Now moving on to Roger Clemens Baseball. Very interesting game. Looks normal enough besides all the garbage text, as we have Visitor of America and home of, well, our opponents are apparently the Brave. And then once we start the game, holy shit. Throw the baseball, and people could theoretically hit it, but everyone is too ADD'd out by that screen to even do anything about it. However, the one redeeming feature of this game in its entirety, regardless of Game Genie, is still intact, where you can run up and down the field, abusing the scaling mechanism like a fucking lunatic. Now here we have Double Dribble as the riotous crowds invade the stadium, which is kind of terrifying when you think about it, but, you know, all logic notwithstanding, as we get to the first screen here, we have we've got our team selection here. I'm going to not choose the LA Tsunamis, it's just a little bit too soon. Just go ahead and skip down the end there, start the game, and oh my god, this is insane. Now Super Dodgeball, same kind of deal. Ton of garbage, players run across the screen, and the game freezes. Now continuing the sports trend, we're going to move on to Track and Field 2. Now this one is a complete goldmine. Whenever you have a cursor over any sort of thing, it makes the most high-pitched screech going through your eardrums like a fucking herd of bats. And then you can start, but as you can see here, you're not going to go very far, as there is absolutely no reference material into how to actually play the game. Oh, I fouled. How surprising. Now, going on to pole vaulting, the same game, now half the screen is trying to prevent me from going to my Olympic full potential. Foul. Now, if we move on to arm wrestling, a tribute to Over the Top of Stallone and whoever that Russian guy is fame, it becomes a gigantic staring contest, which is kind of a cool Olympic sport idea in its own right, but better done here by Duke Togo, who, using the same code, is only able to stare at you. Castlevania, you can see that this logo is pretty freaking awesome, and much in the Olympics appeal of the Track and Field 2, currently Simon is carrying a torch to the castle. Upon reaching, the teat completely freezes up. Going back to the intro, if you press reset, the bat will actually show up this time, but again, much like Simon, going halfway through the screen, then leading us to this demo sequence, which is actually kind of awesome, because it goes through all the normal things the demo does, while remaining completely stuck in one place, and yeah, awesome. Anyway, that's the extent of my at-hand collection, going through with the IKAAAE Game Genie sheet, as it were, and yeah, I sure hope you enjoyed it. Please enjoy the music. It's great.